So I will go ahead and open up this morning's meeting. Welcome everybody to the Floyd County Board of Supervisors meeting for April 10th at 9 o'clock. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Seconded.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Second on the agenda is public comment. Any comments? Okay. All right. We'll move on to item 3. Update on various boards, commissions, activities since the last meeting. Who would like to get started?
Hey, I can. Last night I attended a conservation meeting on lots of spring projects coming up there in preparation for their 60th anniversary of conservation in Floyd County. It started in 1957.
Wow.
You know, and they got a history, and I don't know if it's going to be a real big celebration, but anyway. And they were, the other thing was they're going to come to one of our, Adam's going to come to one of our future meetings for a update on some lawnmower.
Oh, the replacement?
Yeah,
We talked
yeah,
about that?
part of that. And then afterwards, we went to a jail committee meeting. Linda made a presentation there. And then a week ago, I was down at Franklin County, attended that meeting about the, they had a lot of District 2 meeting for the concern over the
That's what this is.
Iowa Code, yeah, this resolution for the Iowa Code.
That over again. See that?
I think the upshot of the meeting was that Merlin Bartz is going to kind of spearhead a plan of attack. They were talking about an administrative rules
Okay.
and getting on the committee there. So like I said, there were a lot.
Were there a lot in attendance?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There were quite a few auditors there, actually.
Well, the invite was sent to Gloria as the auditor, and then
Mhm.
she was the one that passed it on to all of us as supervisors. So I
To
wondered
be
if
honest,
they-
I believe there's a supervisor from every county in District 2. And probably half the auditors were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So as I said, Merlin Bartz was kind of spearheading that because he had more knowledge of the rules than anybody else did.
Well, and I think there's another farm looking at going up there.
Yeah. Actually,
He had
it
mentioned that.
started out as 75 in Minnesota and 25 in Worth County. And then Minnesota was kind of environmental, blah, 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 and so they moved 50-50, and now it looks like there could be up to 90 in Worth County and only 10 in Minnesota.
Mhm.
So they're still moving back and forth, but,
Right.
you know, it's a huge
Okay.
impact.
Anything else?
Well, those are my meetings.
Okay. How about you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I went to a meeting, I met with the auditor in Mitchell County, and he gave me a tour of the Mitchell County Courthouse. It's one of the newer built courthouses in Iowa, and of course I was interested in the supervisor's room, and it was a very interesting tour. I learned quite a little bit about their courthouse. It's very nice. Had a meeting with the Charles City Area Development Corporation. Also met with the District 2 engineer, David Little, and John Rainey, regarding an intersection site safety assessment that was performed on
Okay.
US 18 and T38. This is where the fatal accident occurred with the wolves. And this is the safety assessment, and so just was kind of updating with the DOT what possibly might happen there. And they told me that they were going to do 3 things. They were going to do a speed study of that intersection to see if excessive speed was involved in any of these accidents. They're going to consider the addition of offset right and left turn lanes on US 18. That was at a cost of about $200,000. And they suggested that we talk to the county engineer regarding the rumble strips that are on the south leg of T38. They could be remilled. to make them more definitive. Anyway, here was the actual safety assessment and the conclusions of that report, and so it's for
So
your
it's
review.
a-
And
it's a
Dusty
process.
has that
Yeah.
as well.
But it's a process I'll be going through then to further assess that
Yeah,
intersection.
and they've done some work there, and
Mhm.
some of their things that they're planning on doing.
Well, it's good that they're addressing it. You know,
Mhm.
it's-
And also the meeting I was not able to attend was the County Social Services meeting in Mitchell County, the one that lasted 6 hours
Yeah.
or so. I sent you the minutes to that meeting. I just got them yesterday. And essentially, the two main things that took place in that long meeting were there was consideration of Cassuth County, who has not paid their gap funding to CSS. And there was a motion to extend a second request for them to pay, they're currently delinquent, by April 25th. And that motion was denied. And so essentially what that meant was that Cassuth County's voting privileges were suspended. And there was even some question among some of the board members about the service continuation in Cassuth County, although I think that hasn't developed into anything. There hasn't been any discontinuation of services there. And the second part, after the closed session, the board agreed to have the CEO send out what do they call a 360 evaluation to be completed by all the CSS staff regarding Bob Lincoln, and have it returned by April 25th. And that's all, responses from the evaluation are going to come back to the CSS board.
So the 360, I've done them before. So the information coming back from this 360, is that a group outside of the board that's going to evaluate all that? Or is the board themselves going to look at the information?
Well, it's going to be the board, and to see how all the CSS staff
Right.
feels about Bob's performance.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably a good approach to take.
And this will be, and just kind of coincides with the next meeting of the CSS board, which is Wednesday, not Thursday, April 25th, in Pocahontas County. So we'll know more then.
Which is
We'll
the
have that
due
back.
date. Yeah, then all
Yeah.
of them will be coming back. Okay. All right, thanks for the update
Mhm.
on that. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Let's see, my schedule has been, again, continuing with all of the informational meetings on the Law Enforcement Center. We've just been hitting a lot of the other communities. I've been to Floyd about 2 or 3 times. We've been to Rudd about the same amount. We've been to Marble Rock. We'll have another meeting coming up on the 19th. That will be about 3 times there. We've got North Springs this evening. We've been doing, again, continued meetings here in Charles City. Trying to get the information out as best we can. I did attend, let's see, the first security forum that they had over at the Muse Center over in Mason City. That was informational. Again, it was the same gentleman that was there last year that does a really good talk about, you know, the effect that counties have with the population and just the different demographics and how that affects rural communities. I think it's a great opportunity. I was talking to the mayor, even trying to get him to specifically come to Floyd County, you know, and have some further discussion.
I did
think
talk
it'd
to
be
Kurt
great.
about that one day.
Did ya?
He said he was trying to get to figure out a way that they could get that guy to Charles City and give it Charles City.
Well, I talked to him afterwards, and he is more than willing to do that. He really enjoys doing what he does and trying to help communities any way he can. Let's see, I attended the department head meeting last week. I attended a foster grandparent meeting. We had, again, further union discussion with Mike Galloway was here on Thursday. And I think that's it. One thing though, with this line item on our agenda, I did want to bring up just as, is I haven't been able to bring this up previously, but I think it's well worth, there's a letter I see that we had where Supervisor Kewen, you had sent to Joni Ernst. There's been many discussion. I've been hit up with people from, the community. I've had phone calls from our legislature wanting to know that a lot of the letters that you've been putting out there that are signed as Floyd County Supervisor, what they're assuming that we've all been in agreement and approved, the conversations that have been had. Those discussions have never come to us in front of us as a board. We've never really approved them. And then I see that we're sending a letter to Joni Ernst on Floyd County Supervisor, letterhead signing this. I would just like to make sure that from now on that it is a line item on our agenda so that we can at least discuss it before they are going out. Again, I'm not saying that we disagree or agree, with what's being said, because it's never been something that we've discussed as a board. So I just want to make sure that we're not miscommunicating or giving an impression out to our citizens, that we're taking a stance on certain issues. I don't know if you have any, I'm just throwing that out again.
Well, I think I talked to Mark about that once before, and I guess if it's going out on our letterhead with a signature on it, I think the three of us ought to talk about it. We're all one of three.
Yeah, and I'm just one vote. Like I said, I'm not saying that I disagree. I think you're very passionate on, taking your stances, and I always said I applaud you for doing that. I think that's great. It's just being careful about how we're signing, you as a citizen, Mark Kewen versus saying Mark Kewen Board of Supervisors. So anyway, that's all I want.
Could I respond to that?
You certainly can.
Just specifically, is there something in the letter that you agree or disagree with?
No, and that was the point I just made. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying that if we are sending information out, that it's something, and it's being signed as Floyd County Board of Supervisors, that it is something that has come in front of us as probably an agenda item. That's all. So like I said, I don't in any way want to say that I agree or disagree.
So now that you have made it part of the public record again, would you state for the record what the letter says?
This letter, unlike some of the others that have gone in the paper, this particular one I can. It was an invite that you had made to Joni Ernst, invitation to meet with Jeff and Gail Schwarzkopf family at their location, and you had said, I can read the entire letter.
Go right ahead.
Dear Senator Ernst, you are cordially invited to meet with the Floyd County residents, Jael and Gail Schwarzkopf, at their rural home near Rudd as part of the 2018 99 County Tour of Iowa. The Schwarzkopf family believes that the concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, near their home have caused them serious health issues. As you recall, I told the Schwarzkopf family's story to the Senate Subcommittee in Superfund Waste Management and Regulatory Oversight on March 8th. The Schwarzkopf family would appreciate the opportunity to speak with you directly and explain in more detail how the CAFOs near their home have diminished their quality of life. Please be assured you will receive a good neighbor Floyd County welcome from the Board of Supervisors if you accept this invitation to meet with the Schwarzkopf family. We look forward to hosting you and gaining a better understanding of this issue, important to Floyd County and all of Iowa. Kind regards, Mark Kewen, Vice Chair of the Floyd County Board of Supervisors, and again on our letterhead. So again, I'm not disagreeing that this isn't the right thing to do. What I'm saying is that I would like to see that, ahead of time, that before these are being sent out, that it's an agreement that we're going forward with this. So.
Okay, well, just then a question. So if Senator Ernst decided to come, would you attend with her? Would you go with her?
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm not disagreeing.
But you said earlier you're not agreeing or disagreeing.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, because it isn't the issue of what's being said as much as it's saying that we as the board have agreed with what you're saying, and we haven't had a chance to agree. This particular one is one issue, but then it's been more about the information that's been said. I think in some of the Charles City Press, you've had some editorials. You've marked yourself as Floyd County Supervisor. rather than just a citizen. So if they are, and I don't disagree that if you want to bring that in front of the board, that's fine, but if we could talk about it prior to them going out. So that way, at least when they're signed as a Floyd County Supervisor, it's not a puzzle to our citizens to think, because they're going to assume that it was an agreement, I think, between all three of us. So, and that's really all it is.
Okay, just a little update for you. Within 24 hours, I received a reply from Senator Ernst's office, and she is already talking to her scheduler, and she's trying to accept this invitation.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, both of you decide when that time comes that you would like to participate in hosting a United States Senator here in Floyd County. So. Just for the record, hopefully by that time you will have decided if you're going to participate in something like this or not. And secondly, as far as the letters to the editor or guest views or columns that I put in the Charles City Press, I don't give up my First Amendment rights as a member because I'm a member of the Floyd County Board of Supervisors. Certainly my stance on changes to the master matrix, which is what you referred to, is one that you also took.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you. You're both on record expressing your support for changes to the master matrix. My letters to the editor, those 2 long columns, were very definitive on my position on that. So I think you already voted for that.
You know, you're twisting this around, Mark. This is called transparency, and apparently you feel that transparency works for everybody but you. You know, I went to a meeting a couple of years ago, and I was blindsided. There was a gentleman up there applying for a job, and he had an endorsement from the Floyd County Board of Supervisors. I've never seen that before. So it would have just been common courtesy to tell us that you're going to use this letterhead with our name on it.
And that's really all I'm looking at too. And like I said, I had gotten notified by one of our legislatures that they received a letter that had our letterhead, and it was, you know, conversations that you were having with them. And then he called me up and said, "Are you in agreement with what's being said?" I said, "I didn't know anything about it."
But
So
just
again, it's
for the
just
record, are you
transparency.
in agreement? Do you still feel that
It makes
changes
no
need to
difference.
be?
That's-
That doesn't make any
that's-
difference.
You didn't give
You're
us the
talking about the
opportunity to
topic.
say that
Yeah.
before you wrote the letter.
Right. And that's really all we're saying is the transparency, just to make sure that we as a Board of Supervisors are in agreement on what direction we're taking.
Okay, just so you know, I'm not giving up my First Amendment rights as a member of the Board of Supervisors. I'll feel free to express my opinions, and it's up to the Charles City Press if they want to put Floyd County Supervisor, or you can ask the editor, he's right here, how that's dealt with. Oftentimes they've solicited letters from county staff people, and feel free to write your own if you like. That's fine with me.
If I did it, I would not use that letterhead unless I asked.
So the total objection is to using the letterhead, is it
That's right.
correct?
That's right.
Okay? Further comments? All right. I think that's all of the meetings and everything. We'll go on to the next line item, which is review action regarding approval of March 26th and 27th meeting minutes.
Did I review them?
Any
And
comments?
I didn't see any issue with them, so I would move to approve the minutes of the 26th and 27th.
I'd second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, and motion passed. We'll go on to the next one, which is review action regarding approval of claims. Any concern?
Same thing.
Conversation.
I reviewed them, and I would move to approve them as presented.
Okay.
Seconded?
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Next on the agenda, review action regarding notice to the public on noxious weeds that must be destroyed. And that's the list that we've received this year. Can't remember if there's anything different on this year's than what we had last year.
Over the years, every once in a while, they add a different weed to it, but Adam hasn't mentioned that they've
No.
done anything different lately.
And for the record, it's Canada thistle, the musk thistle, teasel, leafy spurge, annual sunflower, sour dock, Palmer amaranth, and the wild mustard. Okay, any concern on that?
No.
Do we have a motion
Okay.
to accept?
I would move to approve the notice to the public, noxious weed must be destroyed.
Seconded?
Okay, first and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 7, review action regarding raising septic permit fees from $200 to $300 as recommended by the Floyd County Board of Health. Were we having Jeff talk anymore? I know he was up here at our
He was up
workshop meeting.
It is in the packet, they're provided these ranges of fees, and the last couple weeks I've been on a update on my schooling, on my continuing ed, and I will say that Floyd County is way ahead of 80% of the state of Iowa. Only, I think there's still only 20 of them that require the permit system that we do. And part of that, you know, we've also made it part of Jeff's job that he documents where these things are so that we know where they are, which is a tremendous help for realtors and what have you, so yeah, I'm fine with the fee thing.
I did have one call on this. And they were questioning why we were raising it. So Supervisor Keeler, have you had
Labor
any
and-
comments, or anybody call you at all on this?
No, they haven't.
Okay.
I've not heard from anybody.
So the reason we are raising it is just to keep it in line with other counties?
I think Jeff's comments when he was here at the workshop meeting was saying that he feels he does a lot more work in in regards to the
It's mostly the
septic systems.
documentation and the what's he got, an iPad and a GPS that he documents the locations of them. And future people will certainly appreciate it.
All right, so with that, any other discussion, or do we have a motion to pass?
And I would move
Or not
to
pass?
raise the septic permit fees from $200 to $300 as recommended by the Floyd County Board of Health.
When's the effective date of that?
Do you want to put one on it? I don't think that's aggressive. Well, I would amend my motion to say that we would effective immediately.
And it has been recommended, approved by the Board of Health, that's correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct. They met, yes, a couple weeks ago, and they did approve it. That was on March 19th.
Motion by Rosemary Colvin, second by Jody Beeler.
All right, I'll second that.
All right, motion made and seconded to approve the raising of the septic permit fees from $200 to $300 effective immediately. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Next item, review action regarding the 2019 state secondary road budget and the 2019 state secondary road 5-year construction program.
Would be Dusty.
Do we need to call Dusty did he say anything, Sandy, to you at all?
I had just talked to Brian.
So what number is he?
6013.
What's that? What number is Rusty? He knows that we're meeting, right?
Mhm.
Didn't we have that? Can't find him?
Oh, yeah, I just got a lot of contacts.
Hello, ready for me?
Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry.
Okay, thanks.
All right, he's on his way.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry for the short delay.
I'm retired.
Well, I finally got to my email. We have the agenda packet in their email,
Oh,
so we could have done it that way, I guess.
well, let's try next time.
standing up there, the lights were off. I thought you guys were closed.
Oh, no, it's because,
Just kidding. Bye.
That's not our office.
Oh, yeah, okay.
okay. All right, we are on item 8, which is review action regarding the 2019 state secondary road budget and the 2019 state secondary road 5-year construction
Program, yes.
Okay,
Okay. First of all, I'll give you a copy of that because I don't need you to sign that. And these two, but I have 3 copies to sign by the chair and, well, deputy auditor in this case. And these ones are just your copies. This is the budget. And this would be coming up as a 5-year program. And again, I have 3 copies, which, and these are your copies. Basically, and first I'll just touch base on the budget. The budget is exactly the same as the budget that was passed for the county budget. It just separates into different splits on where the revenue is pretty much a self-explanatory. That's the second page, talking about anywhere from the property taxes at the levies they're at, what portion I get from that is provided to me, the local option, road use tax, time 21, which is just a different road use tax, bridge replacement funds, which shows the 1.2 million, which is the 80% reimbursement on Frankie's Bridge, which that project will be, the one that we're doing this summer. As far as the expenditures, that just splits it into the 4 different groups as required by the DOT into administrative and engineering, construction, roadway maintenance, and general roadway. But these are exact same dollar amounts that was passed for the county budget, just splits it according to the DOT. These have to be submitted to the DOT by April 15th, so I always do it right around this time. That's the budget, unless you guys have any questions on that. It's the same budget that was passed already and approved for the county. No numbers have changed. The construction program, start the cover page, obviously. Go to the second page, and I can briefly just do this. I'd summarize this real quick in Chickasaw yesterday's too. And this would be the accomplishment year for FY19. It's page 2 starting. We have pavement markings next summer. So this is all talking basically next summer, sort of. The other one is 195th Street Bridge, and that is the one that's a mile north of the fairgrounds and back west on 195th Street. That's been closed for a couple years now. That one we're going to be doing with local dollars only. We're working on that design right now, and that will be let sometime in the middle of winter.
Is that a bridge or a box?
That would be a bridge, like a slab bridge, like 100 and some foot slab bridge. That one is going to be covered by the 10-cent gas tax. That's why we agreed upon it a couple years ago. It's been in the program to get that and pay for it local only. Similar to what we did last summer when we did the one over on 210th over by Kelvin's house. That we did. That was local only too. You get to the next project, which is on Victory Avenue. That's the one we'll be having the letting today for.
okay.
$135,000. Then there is next project is a day labor project. There's a box culvert on 200th Street. The next 2, bottom of page 2 and then the top of page 3 is $44,000. That's half the cost of 2 projects that's being done on the Bremer County line. Bremer County's doing those projects and it's replacing a couple of structures down there.
Bremer or Butler?
Bremer.
This is Butler.
Does it say Butler?
It says Butler, designed by Butler County.
Oh, shit. No, it's Butler County. Yeah, because Bremer's, I'm thinking Chickasaw. Yes. Bremer's south of Chickasaw. We're south, Butler's here. So
That's
designed by
Butler.
Butler County. Sorry about that. And then we're just all we do is pay half of whatever they get done on it. So those are day labor ones doing with their own crews. The next project after that is the T38 resurfacing project from 7 Mile Corner north all the way to the Mitchell County line. You jump to 2020 and it lists the S70 bridge. That's the one with the maps. Basically these bridges are the ones that were on the maps I gave you guys. So that one is the one that is a half a mile south of the Mitchell County line that we discovered 2 years ago that it was not even listed on our inventory. But it's something that was extended years ago. We found it and all of a sudden we've got to replace it because it's bad. I was going to try to do it local and I can't do it.
That's got something. That's that intersection Mark brought this in. It's from the
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
Yeah.
218.
I'll tell you about that, please.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think you shared this with me.
And one of the suggestions in there was to remill the rumble strips on the
Yep.
on the one side.
Yep. I had talked with Mr. Wolf on that, and I had said that
Yeah.
you had reviewed it with me, and the rumble strips will be done on T38 redone. Yes.
Okay, and they're going to do a speed study survey and
Yeah.
and some more looks at possible turning lanes and things like that.
Okay. Yep.
They don't
Yeah,
really
so-
expect that speed study to look any different than what they
Yeah.
pull all the way along the avenue, but you're following through on it.
Okay. Yeah, that T38 project will have rumble strips cut in there, I guess. You get to the other project, which is the FM CO34 one on the right at the bottom. There is 1.25 million. That one is B20 and S70, which is North Springs north of the county line, and then that short stretch that goes to Saragota County. That one's in the program for 2020. I'm coordinating that with Saragota County. They're also doing their stretch in Saragota County the same year.
You are working with Mitchell County on that T38.
Well, yes, but no. I mean, they're doing their project the same year we are. Yes. I don't know if we'll let it the same day, but typically will be let during the winter here, whether it's January, February, or something like that. Whatever they're doing, yes, I don't know. But we coordinated so their project was being done the same year ours was, yes.
You normally would try to coordinate
Try to
those
do that,
efforts
yeah.
when they are
Yeah.
going across
Yeah.
town.
The bottom of that page is then B35 or 180th Street Bridge. That's the one that's over by the quarries. It's close to where ADM was going to build that one facility a few years back.
Yep.
That bridge east of there.
It is getting a little shaky.
Yeah, it's a big bridge that's going to be. We're going to start working with. That's too big of a bridge for us to do through our standard design. So we'll be working with these, just like we did on Frankie's Bridge with a consulting firm to get that one designed. Then next page shows pavement markings. Again, we get back into every other year we do pavement markings in 21. 2022 is Victory Avenue. This is the one that would be called Kukon's Bridge. That one's in there for 2022. Then FM would be B47. These last 2 years, you have to remember, 22 and 23 are thrown in there and can be fluctuate. You can push them back, move them forward a little bit. Also to the point where if we do it, we don't do it if something comes up. But I've got to get them in the program so that if something deteriorates to a point, they've got to be in the program so that I could either expedite them if I had to or not. This one would be the short stretch of road from Rockford to the Saragota County line straight west that goes right by the Fossil Prairie Park. I did add that one in there just to have it in the program. Then we go to the 170th Street Bridge, and that one is the one that we added in 2023 that is just south of Rockford and back east on the gravel road. That was the one I talked to you guys about with the maps. And then I also added in there T26. Basically that's from the Rockford Road all the way north to the county line, Metro County line. We did T26 south to Marble Rock last year.
So
We've got to look at that, whether that gets done that year or not. Like I said, we can shuffle these in with it. The biggest thing on these last couple of years is I got to make sure I have enough farm to market dollars to do them. Because right now I do not have federal dollars, or swap dollars as I want to call them. But I've got to get them in there, and then if I don't have the dollars, then I just push it back a year.
Are they gonna start that swap thing this year?
The what one?
That swap.
Yeah. Let me get into that in a second. Let me finish this up. And then the next page would be T64, which would basically be from Niles Corner north to the Mitchell County line. That hasn't been done since I've been here. So that stretch I put in there too, just as a, hey, we need to start looking at that. It's in the program. Again, you look at that last 2023, there's a lot of farm to market dollars I allocated there, and I don't know that I'll have the farm to market dollars, but at least they're in the program, and we shuffle accordingly.
Okay.
And then the last one would be the pavement markings in that last 23 year. Swap dollars, basically, Frankie's Bridge would be the last one that is not considered swap dollars. From this point forth, anything that is bridge funds can be, and it's agreed upon for county bridges that you can do those 100% are reimbursed with swap dollars, I want to call them, which are no longer federal aid, they're state aid. Basically, the state will keep all the federal dollars coming into the state. And we've been talking about this for a couple of years, and it finally went through, and it's dollar for dollar now. Mm-hmm. And the state's turned around and given us their state dollars. So there's a little bit less hoops to jump through, a little less monitoring, and we're able to get these projects done probably quicker, faster, and a little cheaper. But the state still wants to monitor those. So, but there are no more federal ties to those dollars.
Right.
So from this point forth, Frankie's would be the last bridge in the county that is done that way. Now that being said, I still have to stay fiscally constrained because I'm still allocated so many dollars per the, just our BR dollars I want to call it, And if at some point that the counties statewide do not become fiscally constrained to within our budget, they're going to come to me probably first because I'm spent ahead and say, hey, you can't let that bridge this year. So all what happens there is we just push everything back a year until my fund balance builds up a little bit, and then now I can let it.
Okay, all right.
But from now on, and cities are different. Cities do their bridges at an 80-20 still. Still have to have a 20% match. They still get swap dollars, but it's 80%. Counties, 100% can be that. Now you get to the federal the paving projects, such as T38 next year. That is swap dollars now. That is no longer going to be federal dollars. They're still going to monitor it as like they have been. That one can be up to 100% also, but typically in those cases, we've never had paving projects even at 80%. We're lucky to get them 50% covered. So with that, I've got 1.4 million for that one, but that will be swap dollars now. We still take the chunk of change off of there and do this. So swap dollars from this point forth, or after Frankie's Bridge, there will be no more federal dollars. It's going to be all state swap. I am not 100% sure on that. That just kind of came through and they just switched everything. So just change all your program, do this.
We have a meeting tomorrow, right? Well,
You might have with the policy board, yeah.
with Kristen and
I can't remember if there's supposed to be
Which meeting
David-
is that?
that they're higher rates because of Dave's Bacon is just that you pay them higher rates. Before federal funding, it might be federal because it just might depend on the system of the road it's on. Like I know like Frankie's Bridge would not have David's Bacon because it's on a local road. Still getting the funding, but anyways, certified wage rates.
There's 3 NICOG meetings, all the same.
Okay, it's one of the NICOGs.
So you got to remember in these last 2 years of these program, it can be shuffled around. It might have to move back depending on what dollars are available. You need to have it in a program, and I'll give you for instance when we did the patching, right over at Underwood.
Right.
I got flagged by the DOT, and they kind of jumped on me and said that wasn't in your 5-year program. You just up and added it to your program and did it that next year. They
Was
don't like that.
At the railroad, you mean?
No, the whole
the whole
patching,
patching.
the whole stretch there. They don't like when that happens. They want it
Okay.
in your program a year so that you've at least thought this out, which is, we do that. But then
Right.
when that happened, it was just like, hey, let's go. And so you want it in the program so that if you can shuffle them around, it's in there for at least 1 year, then you've thought about it far enough out. So hence why you add some of those in those outer years. So that being said, I guess if you guys don't have any questions, major questions, I'd recommend proving the, the
Well, you put it on-
FY19 IDOT secondary road budget and the 5-year construction program.
I'd make a motion to approve that, as presented.
All right, do you have a second? All right. Motion made. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Still
Motion passed.
So I will have you sign this real quick. And yours is right below my name. I've dated everything today. And then same thing with the program. And you get to keep one for Gloria.
Oh, okay.
And sign for Gloria, or sign for yourself.
Okay.
And I think what we did is just put deputy right next to and then sign your name.
Is that making the Region 2 RPA Policy Board?
Yep. What you'll get is, I think we had our technical board meeting end of last month,
There's that.
and there's 3 here too, right below my name also. Then you need to just change to the deputy next to it and then put your name. We went through all the projects that people submitted for projects and blah, blah, and I'm assuming that's where you'll get the list of what projects were, and obviously we don't have one.
Yeah, there's an agenda there. I could probably open it up.
Okay, there you be.
Thank you. And you get to keep the last one of those. Same thing here.
All right,
Okay.
next item is review action regarding bids received to furnish and place a precast box culvert project number L-FY19-01-73-34. Okay,
There's that, and there's a bid sheet. I don't know if you guys all want one of those. I think there's 2 there.
okay.
One of those 2. Basically what this is what, sorry. touching that. I shouldn't. Thank you. And that last one is yours to keep too. This was the program we just went over that was that first day labor item, which was letting there. We have a dollar amount set aside for this. And it was too big for our guys to do. Basically, it's up on Victory Avenue. If you go north of Kukon's Bridge, it's 155th is right there. Then you go just north of that. We purchased a right-of-way on this last fall, I believe, or somewhere in there. But basically what it is, it's a double run. It's to provide two runs of a 12 by 8, I want to think it is. I think it is. I got it right here. It's a 12 by 8, 2 runs of it, so it's 2 culverts side by side. Too big of a dollar amount to do by our crews only, so what we do in this case is, we've done a couple of these in the past, is come in and have somebody provide us what we want for a box culvert. So what they'll do is they'll go to the places that make these, which is like Cretec or Forterra, Hancock, those ones that will make these, and provided we give them the specs on it, and then they come in and say, okay, we're going to place it. We do all the prep work. We tear out the old structure, we set the grade, we get everything ready so that all they got to do is bring in their crane, they get delivered at a certain time, turn and plop them in the hole, then we backfill it.
And that's all they do.
That's all they do. So basically they're paying for it. And by day labor limits, I can only do $89,000 worth of work with equipment, labor, and material costs. This way that it eliminates that because the majority of the payment is for the box culvert and placement of it. And our preliminary work costs us about $20,000 to prep it, tear out the old, prep it, put it back, and then backfill it. So that being said, and the late start date and it has to happen after July 1st, so our late start date on that is going to be right around July, middle of July, but it depends on whoever's bid it and gets it, their contract, what their schedule is. So we like to minimize downtime. We basically say, when you're going to come in here, okay, it takes us probably 2 weeks to prep it, get it ready, tear out the old, and do all this, and then they'll come in and place it, and then we'll backfill it. So right now it's got weight limits on it, and it's due for replacement.
So, and these are all the companies that you sent the proposal to?
Yep.
Okay.
And we did advertise this too, I think through the DOT advertising, so between this and this, we should, I don't know how many bids we got. Uno?
That was it.
Let me
That was
just
it.
And you
check.
dropped
You wanna
it off
double
this
check?
morning.
Surprised me because it's simple as PCI's done work for us before.
Okay.
But
They did last, somewhere south of town.
didn't they do that double run, I think, over west? No, I can't never remember where half of these go in half the time.
So is this, you said it's north of Kukon's, how far north?
It's just north. If you go east on, I won't be right in front of the camera. Let's see, here's Underwood. You go
Yeah.
east.
Just north of Himmelbach.
And it's
That's
just-
what I
just
wondered,
north.
if it's in that area. Dave
Carlin,
had.
we bought some of the
Okay.
right away from Carlin, who's got finger and toes there around the corner.
Right,
So it's just north of there, about a
Right.
quarter mile.
okay, I know
If
the
you go-
area.
Yeah, and if you go 1 mile north, you'll hit the road, that's Caldwell Road, and then you go a mile east and then hit Caldwell. That's it, huh?
That's it.
Okay, so I'll have Linda can tear off that back and then open that. That's still gonna be the bid bond, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So this is the one that you want opened?
You can do me that first, and then I'll just review. If you want to open this, you get a slicer.
Here, I do.
So I'll just review that real quick, and then we'll go into the bid. And obviously, we're hoping for more bids than this, but
Yeah.
it's our typical bid bond from Iowa DOT. So stamped and good to go and signed, and we're good.
All right.
So now you can open that and all that one big piece of paper for one square to be signed for your bid. And obviously, we'll go ahead. You can pull it out, and you can read it actually. So with that said, it's just a one bid item thing. It's just a furnish and place, the double run of it, and it's from Peterson Construction Incorporated. So,
Correct.
and we'll review it because if we get to a point where this is, we'll see what the bid comes in at and saying whether it can be justifiably done or not.
Well, the bid is coming in at $126,000.
Okay. Okay. Well, at this time, what I probably would do, pending that there's no other bids, because they were due by 9 o'clock.
Right.
We did that so that they were in here plenty of time. look at that and just justify my budget, which I should be able to, I have 130, that was one we just did, 137? Yeah. 135, so $9,000, and I think typically on my other day labor projects when I have like 80 some listed there, they've been coming in lower than that, so I should be able to absorb the extra about 9-10 grand in my other line items of
So
the day
you're
labor.
okay
So
with-
I'm okay with doing that. We've got to do it so that we can get it done. So I think that's pretty close to where it is. It's a more of my day labor amount, which I can absorb in the other one. So we should be okay. And since we did it the proper way, taking closed bids, I think
Right.
I would recommend approving that.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yep, I move to approve the bid from PCI for $126,000.
Seconded.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Perfect.
All right.
One step closer to getting another bridge
Move this
done.
back.
That was a weight limit bridge too. That's always been there since the day I started, to be honest with you. I think it's been getting lighter and lighter as we go, so.
Okay. All right, next item, discussion with county engineer regarding secondary road activities.
Okay.
I don't want to get
Yeah.
Well, I'm tired of getting phone calls, so I can't stop the bad weather. So. There it is. Oh, I passed that first. 2 weeks worth of, or 4 weeks worth of time sheet. Yeah, it's been the snow operations basically, getting tired of that. They got quite a bit of snow down in Marble Rock 2 days ago. There was 7 inches down there, which I had about 2 at my place. Kind of went less
He
and less.
said Mason City was around 7. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
Marble Rock. had
Clear Lake had 9. His father-in-law lives over there, so I heard that. The design work continues on the T38. That's from 7 Mile Corner North. Working through the hoops there, making sure we're getting all our ducks in a row on that and submittals. Still have not heard pre-cons yet on Frankie's Bridge or 170th, and have not had a pre-con lined up yet for the Quarry Road. But we know that they're both going to happen this summer. So once I get those details, I'll give you more details when they're going to come in and start some of those projects.
Is there a map that shows how that's going to be laid out? That if I came down to your office,
Yes.
you have?
Of
I'd
Frankie's?
like to see that, yeah.
Yeah, I can give you a copy of the plans.
I've had some questions. Just,
Yeah. Yep.
curiosity more than anything else.
Yeah, we can
on
show
how
you the
that's
whole
gonna be
thing.
laid out.
Yeah, it's coming in like this at the corner still, but then where the old bridge went here and teed
Right.
in, now it's going like this and tying into the road to the east. And then these ones come down and do a swoop and tee in to the east of the bridge. So that's downstream about 300 feet of the old bridge. So. But yeah, come and look at it. I can actually give you guys a copy of it so you can see it too.
Sounds good.
Design work on the 195th Street Bridge yet. That'll be let next winter for next summer construction. I know we did meet last week about the handbook and stuff with Mike Galloway was up here. That went fairly decent.
Yeah, you did.
That's about all I got, you guys. We'll start getting into probably go right from winter to summer, I would assume, the way this spring is going.
That's exactly right. Which maybe the softball season will be short.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the roads about a month and a half ago I thought were terrible, going to be really bad, and then it turned into okay, and now it's kind of like, we can get into blading operations once it gets a little warmer consistently. Outside that, that's about all I got, you guys. I got
Okay.
last day of therapy today for my ankle, and then moving on to doctor appointment Friday to review with my surgeon, and I'm done. I'm only about 85% with it,
That's
but I
great.
think over the next year to 2 years, it's going to hopefully get a little better each time.
Get it done before summer.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, no
that's
kidding. I
right.
walk really carefully now. I tread lightly in everything I do. So.
All right, well, thank you very
Yep.
much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Next item, note public health, health care staff retirement promotion wage increase. Let's see, we had in our packet, we've got the resignation of Lori Sagamo, effective April 27. We wish her well. She's been with them 36 years of employment, decided to retire.
She did scheduling most of that time.
And then we've got Connie Goddard, accepted a full-time clerical home care aide scheduler position. and that is effective the 16th. And then we also have Norma Sprague as a pay rate increase for her for a home care aide. She's completed the required hours of employment to advance to the next pay rate of $11.07 per hour. So these are just noted. Any questions?
No?
Okay, no action on that. Next on the agenda is future agenda items. Do we have any?
I can't think of any right now.
Okay.
Just a couple. Back on February 19th, I asked to put on a future agenda item, the parking lot.
Yes.
And is anything being done with
Yeah.
that? Are we going to put on the parking lot for discussion at some other time?
We will, and what we had said at that time is we were wanting, since we're very, busy right now with the law enforcement center with the referendum coming up in May, I did bring it up to the department head meeting that we will be looking at that in the near future. We just wanted to get past the May 1st vote. The recommendation that I gave to the department heads is that we're going to go ahead between Gloria and I and try and draft something as a proposal, so that way we're not just plain opening it up, again for an entire new discussion. But it will be something that we've already heard from feedback from the employees, so I think we have a pretty good idea, of what changes we can make there. So that's the approach that we're going to be taking.
So
that
when
absolutely
could we
is
expect
still-
that to be on the agenda again?
Well, we just said after May 1st, so our first meeting in May would be the 8th. The department head meeting. Again, May 1st is the first Tuesday of the month, which would be the department head meeting. So we probably would be waiting until after that to present it to the department heads. Because I just said I wanted to just get past the May 1st vote.
Mm-hmm. Fine.
So absolutely, it is still to be discussed. Is there anything else?
Yes, one other
Okay.
thing. In light of our earlier discussion regarding the letter, and I understand your point, I do have a question for you. I've been invited to speak at a meeting in the Capitol next Wednesday, the 18th of April. And it is a last-ditch attempt to get the legislature to consider changes to the master matrix. I am sure as part of that meeting, there will be discussions regarding there are many bills that were introduced there this year, some dealing with local control, some with a moratorium. And so I'm just asking you if you're okay to speak on behalf of Floyd County in support of changes to the master matrix. It's, in fact, the resolution that we passed on February 14th, 2017. It was Resolution 12.
Right.
And we had a long meeting on it. And at that time, we amended the original resolution, took out the moratorium language,
Correct.
and expressed to the legislature and governor it was pretty clear at that time that you were on board with that.
Mhm.
Do I have your permission to speak in favor of that as one of 20 counties in Iowa that still support that at that meeting?
You might want to point out that we didn't include the resolution, or the
The
moratorium.
moratorium.
I think that's all kind of got lumped together. A lot of counties have been in favor of the moratorium. We did not. That's a difference, rather than throw them all in the same thing.
All right,
And you're always welcome to be a member of the Board of Supervisors.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're in agreement.
Goodness sakes.
No, we all, and I agree also that, by that resolution that we had passed at that time was to support that we recognize, and again, the stance that I took at that time was rather than trying to do something at the local level, that we really wanted to see something happen at the state, in support of this throughout the entire state. So again, we all approve that with the removal of the moratorium, and so yes, we still feel that way. I wish you luck on that.
All right, I'll
Okay.
do so.
All right, thank you. All right, any other future agenda items? If not, line item 13 is to adjourn.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned.